So we're going over assignment number 5 that you're going to work on. What's wrong? Oh, I know it says number 4. I mislabeled all of them. They're all labeled wrong. But this one is number 5, aka number 4. So as long as this one's different from number 3 and number 2 and number 1, it doesn't really matter which one you stick it into. But it's supposed to be labeled number 5. Maybe while you're doing number 5, I'll go back there and relabel them. I don't know. I could, if I so felt like it. I probably will. All right, so let's go through it. This one I'm not going to do. You're going to do it now. I'm going to give you some time for it now. It's going to be more of a scavenger hunt exercise for the most part. Not really. I don't know. If you have a MacBook, you can do them all seriously on your MacBook. Or you can do them telnet in and do it. Because all the commands, I just tested them a few minutes ago, are going to work just fine from a telnet prompt on your MacBook. So what are you going to do? In your root directory, which is going to be your home directory, create a file, or it might be the root directory actually, because you're going to copy it into the home directory. Create a file called mars.txt. And from your home directory, copy the file into your root directory. You know, am I seriously going to know how, if you even did that? No. So just create a file in your home directory and call it mars.txt. So there's a line underneath. Put the command that you're going to use to do these steps on the line. So if your home directory is not called home, which it probably isn't going to be called home, don't use home. Use the name of your home directory. Does that make sense? Because a lot of people are asking me, well, what kind of output do I need to do? So if I were to create a file called mars.txt, I could go nano space mars.txt. And then after that, from your home directory, copy the file. From your home directory, copy the file to your home directory. Yeah, so I would go cp space / my name of my home directory, excuse me, / mars.txt to my home directory. Same directory. It's the same thing. What command would you use? Would you actually get an error message? Oh, that's an interesting concept. Let me see. I don't think I can get an error message. I'm just going to copy it. If I'm in a directory, actually let's move into a directory. I'm going to make a directory test me. Change directory test me so I know what I'm doing here. I'm inside of test me, and I'm going to create a mess. I'm going to nano. This one's going to be called mars.txt. This is a test, or just leave it blank if you want. Exit save changes, yes. So now I got mars.txt. How do I get copy this from this directory to this directory? I can use a cp command. And it's really mars.txt to mars.txt. Yes, it's going to come back and say that it's not copied because they're identical. So, from your home directory, copy the file to your home directory.
I mean, initially you said it's the root directory. The root directory create a
Yeah. So, if you were to read the instruction as it's written, what I'm trying to tell you is you don't have to interpret the instructions. If I were to read the instructions as they were written, I'd put this command in here, cp root home to home, right? And then next to it, I'd say identical copy. Or you can give me the command from the root to the home. There's multiple different ways of interpreting and performing the tests, is what I'm trying to say. There's a typo in this one. However, you can read the typo. You don't have to read the typo. There's no right or wrong answer. I'm looking for you to perform an activity and then tell me what happens. So if I copy it from home to home, I'm going to get an error message. If I copy it, if I say you get the wrong one and I give it from root directory to home directory, which is actually what it was intended to do, then it's going to be done the different way. Because there's people that aren't here that won't or are not listening to me. They're not going to get it. Actually, they're not going to get what I'm saying if they're not. Anyway, long story short, what you write for your answers, and this applies to all of the assignments because I have a ton of people asking me, do we mean from this one or from that one or from this one over here? Don't care. Just give me something that makes sense in the Unix world. I'm not going to nitpick your answers. I'm looking, and really, I don't benefit from you doing it either. You benefit from you doing it, so you do it. All right, enough on that one. Number 2 says translate that's the tr command. If you type in man space tr, you get on my BSD system. I'm not logged into the server, but it would work on your server too. You get all of the different commands for tr. You may also have to Google tr if you want a human readable kind of. And the man pages, I don't necessarily like the format of the man pages, but you might have gotten used to it. It's kind of abridged. It's not too bad. But you're going to use tr here, and this is on the Mars file. So you're going to be in the Mars, wherever you put this file, do it from there. So, and you're going to take the file, so you're going to translate the Mars file into caps. So, and using the mapping of A to Z, and pipe it. So pipe it into more. So piping is this guy, remember? More is more. So if I did an ls as an example, I'm going to pipe ls into more. Pipe more. All I have is more.txt in this directory. Nothing happened. More didn't work.
No.
It did work, but more didn't have to do anything. I didn't get more. So if I change the directory, I'm going to try an illustrator point too. So if I change the directory, and let's go back to my, whoops. Let's go to my root directory, and I do the same command. It didn't work either. I mean, it worked, but it didn't do anything. So let's go to something where I have something here. So let's go here. Where am I? I'm going to change the directory to users, bhacker. I got a lot of stuff in this one. So now if I write the same command, ls pipe into more, now it's doing something. I have these two little dots on the bottom down here, and I press return, and the dots give me the rest of the file until I run out. So let's go back. The reason why I'm doing this, there's an agenda here. It's going to say what happens. Nothing is going to happen. It's going to run, but you don't have any. The output isn't long enough to work with a more. If you're running ls, that's what would happen in that case. But what you're going to do here is you're going to pipe. So you're going to translate the tr. Translate tr, the Mars file, into caps. You take the contents of the file, put it into caps. Take the file, put it into caps. Using this, and pipe it into more. Tell me what happens.
Fill it up entirely.
No, you could just pipe it into more.
Okay.
And then give me what happens when you do that.
We are giving ls to more or?
No. You're doing this command here. I did it with L. I don't want to give you the answer.
Oh.
I used ls. You're going to follow these instructions. Depending upon what happens, you're going to tell me what happens. If I were to answer the question for ls, I put down there's only one file in there. I don't know if more worked or not. It just gave me nothing. I didn't see the two dots I normally get. There was no more. It didn't have an effect. I didn't have to pipe it to more. That's the answer to that question if I were to use ls. But you're not using ls. You're going to answer using tr and the commands that are written here. So let's think out of the box a little bit. Be creative. There's no right or wrong answer, but there's an answer that's appropriate. Number 3.
You want the contents to be?
I want you to answer with what happens. So it says what happens. Just tell me what happens. Whatever to happen. It gives me an error. It doesn't do anything. I don't want to give it away. This is what you're just going to do. Number 3. Another translation converts capital letters into what they call Biff speak. And you're like, oh no, what's Biff speak? Don't get too bogged down with the terminology here. It's an old computer word. It's a computerese looking readout. All right, don't worry about Biff speak. The appropriate translation is AEIOS to 43105. A becomes 4, E becomes 3, 2, 1. You're putting a number on a character. So you chain two translations together lowercase and uppercase, with an uppercase to fifth speak. Using pipes, and also pipe the final output into more. And then when it says, is this cool? You know, I can't answer the question for you. Do it and answer the question. If you answer yes, you're going to get the same number of points than if you answer no. Or generates an error. I don't know, you know, whatever. I'm just kidding. It's not going to generate an error. But answer whatever you think it answers with. All right, so number 3. I'm trying to get you guys to think out of the box. Everyone is just so cut and dry. Not a math class. Type in man ls. Okay, and experiment with the various options. I don't care what you experiment with. Do whatever you want to do with it. Which option shows the size? Write it down on the red line there. What happens when you type in ls minus capital L, capital A, capital F? Type it in, find out what happens. You can do this on your MacBook or you can do it on the, it doesn't really matter where you do this. Interpret each option. So is the following rearrange options any different? ls minus FIA. Does it do anything different? So you got FIA, IAF, AFI. Just rotate the numbers around a little bit, characters around. Use cat to display 3 files on the screen at once. And you're like, I don't know about bios, foods, and Mars.x. You probably have bio and food. You don't just make the files. And then give me the cat statement that displays all 3 of them at once. Not cat bio. I don't want 3 different. I want them all together. All right. Now use redirection to put the same 3 files into a single file named file all. Cat actually concatenates, by the way. I'm trying not to. I'm just telling you something off the top of my head I was just randomly thinking about. Right.
You did that in last class.
I'm sorry. I know we did that.
Yeah.
Some people weren't here. Let them struggle. Number 8. Add your foods file to the file _r file again using the append and the 2 arrows, redirectional 2 arrows together for redirection. I haven't shown you redirection yet. So now you get to figure out how to do it with the 2 arrows. Which of the following commands can or cannot be used with input redirection? Answer the rationale for your answer. Explain the rationale for your answer. You can test them out or you can guess. Don't give the answers out. This is an individual assignment, and I'm moving on to number 10. Which of the following, because I don't want to give you any answers, which of the following commands can or cannot be used with output redirection? Is the other one input redirection? Yeah, give your rationale. You don't have to write a novel. 1 sentence, such as there's no output, or there's no input, or requires input, or something. So we got output, we got input redirection, or input output. And assuming that file 1 is a text file, what is the error, if any, in each of the following commands? Well, the tough thing would be to run the commands. Or you can logically guess, you don't have to run them all. And when you answer it, don't you have to put the command, you say A, error, B, does this, C, does that. And however you describe it is fine. So, what is the error? If it's a huge, long error, you can abbreviate it. Or you can say same error as above, same error as number 2. Something. If we use the following chained command, command 1, pipe command 2, what is the necessary requirement for command 1, and what is the necessary requirement for command 2? I can't tell you any more about that one. I've already said enough. You have the following files in your home directory. You don't have to put these files in there. You can just guess at this one. Which of them would be selected by each of the following patterns? File with a question mark. Remember the last lecture had question marks and asterisks on it for go back, take a look at the lecture. That was lecture number 5. Or do a man on, well, wildcards are hard to man, but wildcard patterns. It was in that lecture we just looked at, actually. If you can't figure it out, then you might have to create all of those files and see what works. So the brute force way of doing it is create all the files and run the commands, and then you know which ones are selected. Otherwise, if you can think about it ahead of time, maybe halfway through the commands, you'll probably figure out the pattern of what's going on here. Number 11, write a wildcard pattern. Use the asterisk, the exclamation point, and the opening and closing brackets here to refer to all of the files in the list below. So, example file here, file with a question mark, is for A. This is given to. I gave you the answer to number 1, or to A, I should say. Number 2, you put the answer here. Number 3, put the answer here. Open another window and log in. Open up another terminal session if you can. Terminal window. Then start VI on a junk file. VI junk or nano junk. Doesn't matter if you use VI or nano or Pico or anything else, whatever you want to use. If you don't have VI, start another program. Whatever. If you don't, was there no question here? Open another. If you don't have VI, start any program that you have. I guess that was number 12. Number 13, I was looking to see if there was something you're supposed to write down. You can use VI or you can use nano, it doesn't matter. And number 13, in your first window, find out what the process ID number is for the VI or the program you started. What's the process number in the first window? You wrote VI in the second window. So if I have to, and I can actually do it here. Do I have a process? Yep, it's in there somewhere. It's, where is it?
At the end, second last.
Oh, here it is, nano. And my process ID is 1174. So it's basically, you're just trying to see the process in multiple sessions. It's all in this, it's supposed to tell you that it's all in the same computer. All in the same system. So write down your number is going to be different depending upon what system you're on, really. So when you write down the process ID, it's going to be a different ID. Am I going to know you actually did it? I just did it for you anyway, but it's your learning experience. Kill the process from your first window. You can do that on your own. So when you do that, write in the kill command. And here you're giving me the process ID. Here, this space here says, you know, kill space, whatever switch you're using, whatever parameter you're giving. Questions on the assignment? Okay, I'm going to stop this recording then.